What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Backup Fantasy Sports. It is Monday, July 24th. And on today's episode, we will be talking about some fantasy Premier League with some price point predicaments with a couple of the preseason games getting underway. Like most teams have played one, some have played two by now. It was time to kind of check in with some of the price points, see what we're thinking. So I have 3 defenders, 4 midfielders, 1 forward, and a bonus premium discussion to get into today, just with players costing at the same price and kind of where we're looking in our FPL teams. There are going to be multiple options at each price point, but these are just the one-on-one comparisons that I wanted to compare. So first off, we're going to start with the 6.5 million pound defenders. Andy Robertson versus Kieran Trippier. Last year was a down year for Robbo, 121 points, no goals, 9 clean sheets, 6th best non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 minutes. And for the position rank here, they have to have at least played 10 games and 60 minutes per appearance. So almost every player in today's episode will achieve that, except 1 or 2, I believe. So just handy to see where they ranked at the position. Kieran Trippier there, top point scorer in the game last year at the defender position, 1 goal, 9 assists, 16 clean sheets, as Newcastle were one of the best defenses in the Premier League last year. Very sturdy, but he did tail off in the second half of the year. The assists dried up a little bit, the clean sheets dried up a little bit, and he kind of limped towards the finish as Trent nearly caught him, but it was not meant to be. Trippier just falling short of the 200-point mark. Between the 6.5 million defenders here, I think I would go with Trippier. I was at the Liverpool preseason game against Karlsruhe last week. Robertson was linking up with Luis Diaz quite a bit. Trent was playing the 6. Thank you to the people on Reddit that pointed that out to me. I saw it. I just didn't know it was like whatever. And it was Trent was on the ball the whole time. It didn't really look like Robbo. Robbo might be the assist to the assister, that kind of deal. That's why he ended up with 121 points last year. 8 attacking returns is good, but not as much as we're used to from Robertson, who has the all-time record for points scored by a defender in FPL. So right now, if I was going with a 6.5 defender, I would go with Kieran Trippier. Moving on here to the 5.5 million pound defenders. Luke Shaw comes in at 5.5, Ben White 5.5. Attacking returns 5 to 7, clean sheets 12 to 15. Luke Shaw was injured a bit, so he missed out on some of those Man United clean sheets, so maybe like a couple of 6-pointers there. Non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90. Not a lot to choose between them, both outside the top 15. But as you can see here, Luke Shaw is in 34.7% of drafts at this point, while Ben White is in less than 10%. Those numbers are from Saturday morning when I created these tables. So things may have changed now that Onana's price came out as 5 million. Luke Shaw's ownership may have dipped, which would not be surprising. I think people are trying to get into that Man United defense a little bit, and Onana offers you 0.5 saving on Luke Shaw, and you can maybe spread that around elsewhere. At least that's what I'm thinking. Ben White is kind of a consequence of his own performance from last season, because he's 5.5, whereas the rest of the Arsenal defense is 5 million with Gabriel, Zinchenko, Ramsdale, all 5 million. So you can get into that Arsenal defense a lot easier as well, save the 0.5. Right now, if I was going to choose one, I would say Luke Shaw. To me, he's more likely to get consistent playing time, a lot of minutes. Ben White will be okay, but just with Timber coming in, Arsenal kind of could do a lot of different things in their defense, whereas Luke Shaw, if they're fully healthy on the back line, he can play out left, but if they need coverage, he can move to center back, and he's just a bonus point magnet. So I would go with Luke Shaw over Ben White here. The 5 million pound defenders, like I said at the beginning of the episode, lots of options at 5 million, some options at 5.5. I'm just choosing a couple that I want to talk about at that price point. So this is the 5.5 million pound defender here. Purvis Stupinan, the hero of game week 36 with his 17-point display against Gabriel's Arsenal. Gabriel came out on top over the course of the season, 3 goals, lots of clean sheets. But he was actually pretty high up for a center back, non-penalty expected goal involvement at 0.15, top 20. The Stupinan came on at the end there he was top 12. But the difference in how many people have them in their drafts is like quite staggering. Gabriel's there at just under 18%. Stupinan's in over half of our teams in FPL right now, so that's kind of crazy. But it makes sense. Brighton going to be attacking. They were after De Zerbi took over, Brighton were a top 10 team in the top 5 leagues in Europe for expected goals. So Brighton were just all out attacking there. De Zerbi had them flowing. I'm not sure how many clean sheets they're going to get this year. Could be a little bit of a transitional year for that Brighton defense. I think as for FPL Black Box, he's a Brighton fan, so he was talking about how they don't have a lot of coverage. They haven't really strengthened that part of their squad. So it could be a little bit leaky at the back for the Seagulls, but Stupinan is just so attacking. He just bombs forward any chance he gets. 1 goal, 7 assists last year. He is my preferred 5.0 defender here. Gabriel, it's kind of tough between him and Ramsdale and Zinchenko for me right now. I don't think I would go with Ramsdale, as the 3 Arsenal outfielders are a very big commodity in FPL right now. So Gabriel is ahead of Ramsdale. I'm not sure where he's going to rank with Zinchenko. He might get more minutes. There's rumors of rotation there as well with Gabriel. Arsenal in the Champions League this year, so they will need to kind of spread their resources around. So it'll certainly be interesting how that goes over the course of the season. But Stupinan over Gabriel for sure. And if I was going to go with another 5.0 defender, it would be between Gabriel and Zinchenko right now. Over here to the midfielders, I did avoid the 4.5 million defenders as there's just so many, and it's still a couple of weeks to get it shaken out here. So kind of just moving on to the bigger topics. Fernandez versus Saka here. Saka top 200 points, 26 attacking returns, 19 bonus points, 0.42 non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90, which is 20th, which is a lot lower than you would think. He actually tailed off in the second half, and I think he was, in that metric, he was actually below Odegaard and Martinelli in the second half. But he, like a Stupinan, is in over half of our FPL teams right now. And for a Stupinan, I get it, like very attacking defender, 5 million, not a lot. He probably could have been 5.5. But Saka at 8.5, when there's Martinelli at 8, there's a lot of good defenders. I know Saka's nailed. He seems integral to that Arsenal attack. So he could just be kind of an outlier. He's on penalties, which is great as well. Fernandez here, 176 points, 17 attacking returns, so many bonus points. He was so unlucky in the second half of last year. I think I had him in my squad for like the last 12 game weeks. And every time I watched a Man United game, it was like, how is this guy not getting assists? It doesn't make any sense. United just had some poor finishing. Rashford was injured for a little bit there, so they were relying on like Weghorst and Martial to finish off these chances, and it just wasn't getting done. As Mason Mount comes into the side, potentially another attacker coming into Man United before the close of the window, Fernandez's role may not be as like goal scoring, although he did just score a goal in the preseason friendly against Arsenal. Kind of a to be determined here. I think the 8.5 bracket is where you want to live in the midfield. Fernandez is also on penalties, as far as we know still. He's not missing any, so that's probably won't get taken off of it. If he were to lose penalties, kind of like Mo Salah, they would maybe not be options in FPL anymore, as that is a big reason that they're so attractive. But 0.5 non-penalty expected goal involvement there, 6th best among midfielders last year with at least 10 appearances and 60 minutes per appearance. He's still in over 20% of our squad, so people are still going for him. I see a lot of drafts where people still have Rashford and Fernandez and Saka, but they don't have Mo Salah in there either. So if you don't have Salah, you can really spread those resources around your midfield and have a phenomenal looking middle of the park. Down here at 8 million, Diogo Jota versus Gabriel Martinelli. Different seasons, obviously, but Jota's 0.62. He did not qualify as he didn't make 60 minutes per appearance, but it would have been third if I just removed all the filters amongst all midfielders behind Mo Salah and Kevin De Bruyne. I believe he's only in 2.8% of our drafts, but at that Liverpool preseason friendly that I was talking about, he had 2 goals. He was just, I mean, it was a Bundesliga 2 team in Karlsruhe, but he looked electric. He was just flying through the line. Every attacking chance was kind of getting funneled through him. Jota had an assist to Gakpo as well. Only 80 points last year, but still 7 goals, 4 assists. If he manages to crack the starting 11 for Klopp and Liverpool 2.0, he could be an absolute gem of an asset in FPL. But is he going to be better than Martinelli, who scored in Arsenal's preseason friendly over the MLS All-Stars last week? 24 attacking returns last year, 18 bonus points. His 0.53 non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 was 4th best among the qualified midfielders, and he's in 14.1% of squads. Him being 0.5 less than Saka is really tricky to see who. I think I would definitely take Martinelli over Odegaard, and I would probably take Martinelli over Jota for right now, because Martinelli just feels like his minutes are more secure despite Arsenal adding Kai Havertz. They've got Trossard in there. Gabriel Jesus is going to be healthy for hopefully the full season. Like, there's a lot of options to replace Martinelli, but I'm not sure if that will be the case. I think a lot of people just see new signings coming in and they just kind of gravitate towards, well, someone's going to lose minutes, but it doesn't have to be Martinelli. It could be the most likely, but it doesn't have to be. So still watch that as the preseason unfolds as well. But yeah, 14.1% of squads there. I would probably put Martinelli over Bruno Fernandes as well, just because Arsenal's opening fixtures are so nice. But definitely Martinelli over Jota here. Next up, 7.5 million midfielders. Foden versus Maddison. Foden keeps seeming to have a down year, but the 142 points were a career high, so still had his best season in FPL. Kevin De Bruyne has a hamstring injury. Silva's gone. Gundogan's gone. It's going to be very interesting at Man City. Or Mahrez is gone, sorry. And there's a midfield spot open there for Phil Foden to just grab as long as he stops falling out with Pep. That would be fantastic. Where do you think he's going to play this year? Let me know in the comments below if you think Phil Foden is going to be a nailed-on Man City defender, and then just like and subscribe to the channel while you're there. Just a couple of clicks, no worries. Maddison over at Tottenham now. I got him in the Leicester shirt still, but 135 points last year. He's kind of been the talisman for Leicester over the last 2 years. He's going to bring that talent to Tottenham. Hopefully still linking up with Harry Kane. It's kind of a push-pull situation. Like, if Harry Kane goes, there's going to be a lot more chances there for the Spurs players like Son, Richarlison, Maddison. But without Harry Kane, there also won't be an elite finisher on the end of some of those chances that Maddison creates. 19 attacking returns last year, 10 goals, 9 assists, 9 bonus points. His non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 ranked 9th. Phil Foden didn't qualify, but 0.51, still very good. It would have been above James Maddison, obviously there. About in the same number of FPL drafts here. So certainly people like them, but it's not in the 20s or the 30% yet. If we see that Foden is going to play a lot more if he plays the rest of the preseason, kind of with the first team, kind of linking up with Haaland, kind of like how Jack Grealish did at the end of the preseason last year. He was kind of combining with Haaland, and he was 7 million, and people are like, could Grealish like be the guy? It took him a while, but he eventually warmed up in the second half, and he was a big option in FPL for our squads in the back half of last season. So maybe Phil Foden will have that effect. But right now, I would tend to go with Phil Foden over James Maddison, just being part of a Man City team that has terrific fixtures to open the year, and he has the best striker on the end of any potential chances he sets up in Erling Haaland. Now to the 6.5 million midfielders. Mbeumo, Solly March, Matoma, Pascal Gross. Those are all options here. 3 Brighton guys and a Brentford guy. I'm not sold on Matoma, so I kind of didn't put him in here. It's kind of between Mbeumo and March for me. March is only in 3.2% of lineups. He's on set pieces for Brighton. He was captain in their game against Chelsea on Saturday night. So these are all good signs that hopefully he can lead the midfield in minutes. Just that's a X minutes security kind of thing. And Mbeumo, no Ivan Toney, could be on penalties, was very good at the back half of the year when Toney was out for the remainder of the season. 150 points last year, 18 attacking returns, 14th among midfielders, although he was classed as a forward last year. So still top 15 with his non-penalty expected goal involvement. And he's in just under a quarter of our drafts, whereas March is in less, just over 3% at 3.2% of our drafts here. 147 points here for March. 16 attacking returns, 16 bonus points, 0.45, also 14th at the position in non-penalty expected goal involvement. Which one? This is maybe where I remember last year during the preseason, the whole debate was Leon Bailey versus Pedro Neto, and it was just a dud argument because they didn't really do anything. But it was, I think Bailey maybe had an assist in the first week, but this is maybe a place where you can break away from the template and just go with the differential guy. Brighton have really good fixtures to start the season. They started strong last year when they beat Man United 2-0, 2-1 at Old Trafford. Pascal Gross got both goals that game. So maybe it's just Solly March's turn to start the season off strong, but 3.2% current ownership for March definitely makes it feel like a differential and a potential place to kind of break away from the template, especially when he matches up so equally with Mbeumo, and you can kind of get off of March after game week 3 when Brighton's fixtures get a lot tougher. Moving on to the forward spot here, Gabriel Jesus versus Ollie Watkins, the £8 million forwards. Last year, in his first year with Arsenal, Jesus had 125 points, 18 attacking returns, 17 bonus points, and was 0.70 non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90, which was 3rd amongst all forwards. And he is currently in 33.6% of our FPL drafts. Ollie Watkins, 175 points, 23 attacking returns, 25 bonus points, and 0.51 non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90, which was 6th at the position. And he's in 14.4% of our squads. Jesus is perennially an underperformer in his expected goal involvement stats, but he had a great year last year for Arsenal. But 125 points, that Arsenal team has so many attacking options with Saka, Odegaard, the defenders, Trossard. Like, there's just so many players that, like, this will be my 4th Arsenal player that I've mentioned in this, or 5th actually already. So you can see how many FPL options there are here. And the 8 million point bracket for a forward is a good spot to have, as you could go down to like the likes of Darwin or Gakpo or Nkuku or Jackson, kind of whoever like shines in the first few weeks, and you don't have to move mountains to get them into your lineup, as you can just go from your 8 million forward down to the 7.5 asset. which is why I would kind of go with Ollie Watkins, because he is more like integral to the Villa attack. 175 points last year showed that. He was phenomenal once Emery came along. I actually did a Aston Villa team preview on rotoballer.com. You can check that out for FPL, where I kind of broke down what I thought was going to happen for Villa this upcoming season in Fantasy Premier League. But yeah, Watkins just more important to Villa's attacks. Same price as Jesus. He's in way less teams. And Jesus had a 19-point outing last year against Leicester in like the third week of the season. And then he got injured, and then he was kind of trying to break back into the team, but didn't really shine that much. Arsenal as a team did, finishing second behind Man City, but it wasn't all due to Jesus, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, all those guys really stepping up. Whereas Villa were powered by Watkins, and that makes me lean towards him in the £8 million price bracket. Final squaw or debate here is the second premium. If you are going that route between Harry Kane and Mo Salah, there are rumors swirling that Harry Kane is off to Bayern Munich. Apparently he's agreed personal terms with them. Bayern have made at least two bids for the England captain. And it'll be very interesting to see if he starts the season in the Premier League or Bundesliga. So this debate could be mute by the time you watch it, in case something goes down immediately. But last season, Kane was phenomenal. He finished 9 points behind Haaland for the entire year, 39 attacking returns, 48 bonus points. His 0.55 non-penalty expected goal involvement was fourth at the forward position, and he's in 15.1% of our drafts. Mo Salah, a down year at 239 points, 32 attacking returns, 23 bonus points, but 0.66 non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 was second among midfielders, and he's in exactly 25% of our current FPL drafts. He is currently not in my FPL draft. I will show that on Friday's episode when I have a preseason update, just go through all the squads. Definitely liked this video and subscribe to the channel just so you get that notification whenever that video goes live. But if I was choosing right now, it would be Salah, just because Kane might be gone. I think Liverpool, they looked really good. They looked really sharp in that preseason friendly. It wasn't the highest paced game. They weren't kind of showing all their cards, but Salah was getting pinged balls from Soboslai, from Trent, from linking up like along the wing. It was very encouraging to see. He looked pretty sharp. So I would certainly think about getting Mohamed Salah in your lineups if possible. But that was kind of the last debate that I had for the day. So lots of price point predicaments to kind of go through, favoring the Arsenal guys as they have such an easy schedule to open the year. But so many things could change, and that's why I'm going to do another video on Friday to update the preseason. Most teams will play at least 2 games by then. I think Liverpool play their second game tonight. They might play another game on Thursday as well, so have to watch out for that. The Premier League Summer Series is going on in the United States right now, so teams are kind of flying through their preseason fixtures as it's nearly a week away from August, and then it will be almost the Premier League season. So lots to get into. But yeah, Friday, have a preseason update, and we will definitely delve into who's hot and who's not as the season draws near. But once again, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you enjoyed the video, hated the video. Let me know. I can change things. It's great. But once again, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next time.